Hello, I'm Ben Hornan with Kimmons Middle School, and I am a seventh grade social studies teacher here at Kimmons. And this is for HRS 1.3 from the social studies group. And we have the leading indicator. Teachers have formal roles in the decision making process regarding school initiatives. So for letter A, we're going to go through our survey that we took last spring. And as you can see here, here's the overall findings from that survey. We have students as a 3.78, staff 3.56, parents 4.5, and admin 4.13. And so since most, everyone across the board has given the survey for 1.3 above a 3.5, we believe that this is a strength in our school. But I'm going to break down each of the groups and then kind of see how they answered each question individually. So for the students' mean score, teachers help make important decisions at my school. That was a 3.78. So as we kind of round up, we kind of indicate that this was kind of a strength. And as we see with our teacher results from the staff, you can see that for the first one, it is clear which types of decisions will be made with direct teacher input. That score is below a 3. And so if you take the overall score and then you combine them together, I know it's right above a 3.5. But as we can see, techniques and systems are in place to collect data. We believe that's a strength. Notes and reports exist documenting how teacher input was used. That's below 3.5, so I know that's kind of on the neither scale. And then electronic tools, online surveys are used. Our school improvement team regularly provides input and feedback. Now, I believe since last year, this actually has helped because I know our school improvement team and our district or our building guiding coalition has been revamped and changed. And so I think that one has changed, but I will go through some of the artifacts that we have coming up later. And then groups of teachers are targeted to provide input regarding specific decisions. And I definitely think that with our PLCs and with our guiding coalition, there are teacher teams that do meet. I mean, the crisis team, and there's the student initiative or incentive team. So, I mean, there are certain buildings or there's certain teams within the building that do get targeted as far as what to provide, whether it's end of the school year party and things like that. And then for our parents, you can see that they indicated, both questions that they were asked, it's a 4.5. So we do believe it's a strength there as far as teachers having input. And then with our administration, we can see here that they also included, I believe it's a strength overall as far as teacher input, as far as the technique, systems, notes and reports, the tools, the groups of teachers, and it's clear that decisions will be made with direct teacher input. So this is what we believe overall, and that's why on 1.3C, based off our survey results and the lagging indicators, we believe that 1.3 is an area of strength at Kimmons overall. And I want to go and show this right here. And this is the 3-column chart that we created as far as for 1.3B. And this is to show where we believe where teachers where the decisions are made by the individual teachers or the teacher teams. And I'll go through those here in a second. And then we have decisions where teachers will routinely have input, which are shared decisions by our administration and teachers. And then lastly, we have the decisions where teachers are not consulted. So if we break it down, really where us teachers feel at Kimmons, where we believe that we do have most of the decision making is right here in the classroom. With as far as like our classroom arrangement, our setup, our desk, how we want them arranged, our lessons and pacing, we kind of had that autonomy as long as we are communicating with our team teacher, our partner, and we're kind of basing off the same lessons and we're pacing together, then our administration kind of lets us have that freedom to make those decisions. Classroom management, as far as our rules and classroom procedures, we do have our social contracts with capturing kids' hearts. that we make for each class period. And here's an example that Ms. Campbell had posted in her room. So there's a picture down here as far as how each classroom can be set up. And each social contract is different in its own way, depending on the classroom. And then, of course, classroom rewards. We do have some teachers that if they're out for a day with a substitute, they like to reward them with a bunch of live school points. I know teachers have said that they like to offer kids candy if they behave well, or they'll take the classroom outside if they behave well. So these are rewards that we can do within our class, that we have kind of the autonomy without having to rely on administration or making this shared decision with them. And then we get down here into the middle section where teachers and admin, we have kind of these shared decisions where our input is valued. And so our district calendar, that's with our personnel policy committee. Teachers and administration are both on this, and this is district wide. So every year they come together and they try to figure out what the next school calendar will look like for the next year. Curriculum purchases, so that's going to be specific to that subject. So, I mean, I know for social studies, we were in the textbook adoption committee, or I was on there with another fellow social studies teacher. And so we had the input of which books we really liked and which ones that we wanted as far as our 7th, 8th, and 6th grade classes for social studies. The PLC agenda input, we were able to work with our administration team. And as I pull it up, this is the one for social studies. And so every week we work through this on Thursdays whenever we do have our PLC time. And you can see that this is the format that we kind of came up with and agreed to as far as topics for discussion, the collaboration plan, review completed work, and our next steps and things like that. So we also have links as far as whose roles there are, and then our meeting norms and collective commitments. So all these things we kind of work together with admin as far as what we wanted to show in our PLC agenda or PLC meetings. And so this kind of keeps us in line as far as every week whenever we are meeting. So there's that artifact. Our classroom purchases. So we get to work with our admin. They kind of tell us what our budget is, and then we get to kind of decide with them. I mean, if there's a specific thing that we want to buy for the classroom, then I know we can always go to our principal and kind of tell them or administration, hey, I really want this, I don't know, specific tool or something to use in the classroom. So we do have that shared one. Student referrals for special education needs or 504s. We do have input on that as far as if we do believe that a child should be referred for special services. Our building guiding coalition agenda is kind of similar to our PLC team meeting agendas. This one's for the district guiding or not the district, but the building. And so you can see that we do meet, and then we have a teacher that takes notes, and there's about 16 of us who are on this committee, 16 or 17 that are on the building guiding coalition. And so we have our high reliability schools committee, we have our capturing kids hearts committee, and then we also have our PLC committee as well. And so we always break into groups or break into our groups, and then we meet for about 30 minutes and we come back as a full group and we take notes. So this building-wide guiding coalition really is what breaks down and kind of helps with decision-making as far as, like you can see, we're going to have a test rally for our standardized test, ACT Aspire. So we were kind of the teachers on the front lines as far as what ideas we could give as that. And then, of course, we had another teacher send out a survey, and so other teachers were able to give input as well. But the decision-making, we were able to work with Dr. Hinkle and Ms. Chase and Ms. Kirsch as far as what are certain things that we would like done as far as coming up in the next few weeks. And then our safety plan, the crisis team does meet with the school resource officer and also with fellow administration from the service center. And so they come up with that plan. And then lastly, we have our decisions where teachers may not be consulted. So budget setting, we're kind of not really told as far as how much money is used for certain activities or certain things that will be used for us teachers. Standardized testing dates. We don't have any input on that. I know, I think it comes from top administration as far as, hey, we want all the schools to be testing during this specific week. And we also included the document that Dr. Hinkle shared with us as far as specific dates that are coming up. So a lot of these dates are important, obviously, as far as testing and everything. And so we really didn't have much input on that. We just had to mark it on our calendars that, hey, these test dates are coming up. And then we have school policies and the student handbook of rules. Teachers don't have much of an input on that. That's usually from top administration. And then how and when our PLCs meet, we were told it'll be Thursdays during your planning period. Discipline measures, as far as handing out discipline, that's usually reserved for our administration here at Kimmons. I know different schools have different ways of issuing discipline, but as far as like assigning a kid in school suspension or suspending him, that's always going to be up to the administration. And then schedules, as far as student placement, teachers don't have much of a say as far as what schedules they want specific students to have. And so that's usually from administration as well. But this is how us social studies teachers kind of put together as far as the decision-making process at Kimmons, and this will also be included in the folder as well with the presentation. But again, once come back to 1.3C, we do believe, based off our survey results and our indicators, that it is overall a strength at Kimmons that teachers do have a formal way of decision-making.